you doing, everyone? It is Sunday night and it's 8 o'clock. It's time for a motherfucking broadcast. Hope you're great wherever you are. For those that have never tuned into broadcast before, yes, it's put on by the sexy mofos at BrawtherHood.com. But here's the thing. What we do here is a lifestyle podcast. We get to meet people from all around the world, interesting backgrounds. We've had musicians, we've had actors, we've had comedians, we've had MMA fighters, we've had ninjas, we've had beard models, and so much more. We get to have a little chat of them, but their backgrounds, their journey through life, where they are right now in 2021. I'm Billy Kirkwood. Relax. I've never heard of me either, but you will have heard of our guest tonight. We'll get back to him in just a wee second. But wherever you're watching, do me a favor, hit that share button, subscribe if you're watching us on YouTube, and why not head over right now to Spotify, iTunes, where you can check out all the archive of the broadcast episodes. We've got some brilliant ones in there to check out. And of course, make sure to tell a pal and head over to BrawtherHood.com and maybe grab yourself some merch, whether it's stuff for your beard, whether it's stuff for your head, stuff for your neck. I don't know. It's all over there. They even got stuff for cleaning your balls. That might not be a thing. I'd like to give him apologies. Right, let's kick off with our guest tonight, ladies and gentlemen. He's from ThorpyFX. Very excited to talk to him tonight. He's agreed to come on and have a chat with us. This show is pre-recorded. I might as well let you know, so we can't take your questions, but we always like to do follow-ups and what have you. So if you do have any questions at the end, make sure to email us over at Brawbeard. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guest tonight. Let's hear it from Mr. Adrian Thorpe, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening, sir.
Good evening. How are you?
I am very well. Thank you for sitting through the fastest intro to a podcast ever. I hope you're good. First of all, you are sitting in the workshop tonight. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. I am. I've been in here all day, but we're here. God. We're here a little bit longer.
How is lockdown been for you guys? First of all, ThorpyFX, amazing name. Because when I first heard it, I went, "That sounds cool. That sounds cool as fuck." I don't know why. How's it been for you guys working through lockdown? Have you been busy?
Yeah, it's been a bit of a weird one because I think a lot of people during lockdown made a decision, if they were furloughed or whatever, to take up an instrument or treat themselves. And because we make guitar pedals for guitarists and bassists, people seem to want to treat themselves, and they've bought quite a lot of pedals off us. So in all honesty, we've been able to expand during lockdown, which I feel uncomfortable saying, but we've been able to hire people. So that's a real positive. So
well, it's got to be a positive. I think in this time, anything's a positive, isn't it? It's I love the pedals and stuff you guys were making, especially some of the custom ones. If you go over and check out your Facebook page, there's some amazing ones over there that you've given incredible names as well. I love a pun, do I? And I've seen some amazing stuff that you've made over there. Bespoke stuff, I think it'd be fair to say. It's unique how you guys put this stuff together. Yeah,
I just wanted to do it the way I wanted to do it. If that makes sense? So if you're going to do it, go all in and just try and do what you think you can do best. So we've lent very heavily on my background from the military, the naming and the nomenclature of them. They all have a bit of a pun, some of it's irony, but they've all got a military thing. And there's a reason for that. It's mainly because to be in this industry and have a military background is quite rare. So you'll probably be aware that the military's got its own language, essentially, of slang and such like. So I've just sort of tapped into that because it's less likely to be used by other people,
Definitely. Well, it makes it unique to you guys. And so when people see it wherever around the world, wherever musicians using it, they go, I know exactly where that's from. Gets it out there. And it gives a connection, because that's one of the things that I saw over on your Facebook. There's a real connection with people that use your work. You know what I mean? I hate using the phrase product, because because of the naming of what you guys do with the pedals, there's a real bit of you in there, and there seems to be a connection with the guys that are the folks that are signing up and using your stuff. There's almost a community.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, there's a saying that, I hate sales and marketing really, but people buy from people.
Yeah. You've paused for me there for just a second. I get the feeling you're going to come back.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. So people buy from people. So I think we've I'm very open with our customers. I don't hide behind anything. So if you email me, you get me, you know, or you might get my wife as well. She's also part of 50% of the business. So there's a family behind this. This is what we do.
Oh, brilliant. Right. So we've got to go back to the start. And don't worry, I'm not going to make it all deep in method and what have you. But let's go back to the start where this all kicked off for you. Where was your interest in music? Because obviously you're very passionate about it. But where was your interest in all this first kind of sparked? Was it primary school? Was it influences from just music in general? Where did everything kind of kick off for you in this journey?
So my teen years were in the 90s. So I'm sort of, I think the guitar music was back in the form of sort of like Nirvana and Alice in Chains and things like that.
Yeah.
But I gravitated, to my shame, towards sort of dance, drum and bass, trance, techno, and that sort of stuff. So heavy music. I always liked the extreme form of whatever that genre was.
Right.
And at the same time, I was really getting into metal because I like the passion involved. And for me, music has to move me. I can't listen to certain types of music because I don't get any emotional attachment to it. And that sounds really deep, but if it doesn't get my blood pumping, I'm really not that bothered about it.
Right.
So I was into that style of music, but then, you know, I elected to join the military very young, and 16, and went to military college and all the rest of it. But it was only when I'd finished Sandhurst, so sort of around 2003, that I decided, well, I've got some free time in the evening. I'm an adult now. What am I going to do? So your choices were, at the time, drink lots in the officers' mess, go to the gym, go to cinema, or take up a hobby. So I took up guitar, and very quickly I fell down into the sort of the technical route because my background is quite scientific and engineering based, and I thought I wanted a pedal that Eric Clapton was using called the Dallas Rangemaster. Okay. Anyway, to buy them at the time it was £1,000. I think now it's £3,000. It's a lot of money.
Jesus.
yeah. Because they're rare, they're old, and I thought I can build this. So I did. And then it didn't work, which was probably the best thing that could happen, because at that point I then had to fix the thing and get it working, and then I was hooked. So it was like, I'll build that, and it snowballed. Now, you know, fast forward, it didn't become a business until.
Well, you're frozen on a cliffhanger, and then again there for me. I think you're going to be back in just a sec.
There we go.
There we go.
I'm really, yeah. So I've been building for friends and family throughout that time. So, but at the end of we just decided to set up the business because she encouraged me to do it because we'd always wanted to.
Right. Okay. So in terms of those stages where you, like you said, you built those first couple of pedals, or you built that first pedal and it hadn't worked, and you did say like that was a good thing because it was almost a happy accident because it made you get into the nuts and bolts, and so that was just in your nature of going, I really want to know what mistakes I've made and learn from that and fix it and just make these better. Do you think that gave you almost an edge on a lot of people that were in that side of the business?
I think a lot. We learn a lot from our successes, but we absolutely learn more from our failings. Now, whether it gives me an edge over other people, because obviously some other people realize that stuff too, but in reality, for me, it drives me forward. I am obsessed by this stuff, and so failure for me, I can't stand it. If it's a personal failing, I try and fix it because I really don't like failing. So yeah, does it give me an edge? It gives me a mania, I guess.
You almost wish there was a couple that could go, I wish I could let this go, but no, I need to get this fixed. I need to get this as good as I can. In terms of being in the army at that point, what was the sort of reaction to you getting into music? the only reason I ask is because I heard about some people picking up some instruments, but I've never heard about them going down the guitar route and then getting in the technical side of it. What was the reaction to the guys that you were in the army with at the time to you doing this?
I think people were fairly accepting. I mean, when I was in the officers' mess, there was another officer who was better at guitar than me, and he'd been playing for a little while. And so I think it's a typical thing that guys in the military do. Not necessarily guitar, but they'll take up something. Some people are going to do triathlon. I had friends that were doing a semi-professional boxing at the same time, and yeah, people who are busy just seem to like to be busier. It just seems the way it goes. You know.
So in terms of thinking about life after the army, we should say, which is always an interesting one. At that point, I know you said it became a business much later, but when did you think this is going to be a post-army focus for me? Because we know plenty of people that pick up skills in the army and develop ideas and are able to take that. Was that something you thought this is going to be a business for me, or just again a hobby, something that you're obviously it has become the business, but did you think it was just going to be a hobby or just something you'd be passionate about in your own spare time?
Well, when we decided to go for it in 2014, basically the aim was, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it. So we go all in. So we put a lot of money into it to start the business. Okay. And mainly that wasn't necessary if you were to just grow it slowly, but we didn't want to do that. We wanted to go all in. So we needed the initial investment, which we used our own money. But it was more a case of, we're going to do this. So did I know it was going to be a business? Yeah, I did, because I made that conscious decision to do that.
So you'd manifested it already kind of in your own head when you were, like you say, it's all in, all or nothing.
Yeah, well, so we set an initial goal, which was to sell 100 pedals. We went, right, we're going to build these and we're going to sell them, right? That's a lot of money's worth of stock, especially if you've got no one buying them at the time. And then after that, it just snowballed. So the reality is, we went all in and just never stopped. We just keep kicking those doors down.
So, which brings me to my next question about it really was kicking those doors down, was making an impact, brand new business, upstart business, getting into the industry. Obviously, what was the first steps in order to start establishing yourself? Because you've got those 100 first pedals to sell, but it's a difference from having them on a shelf or having them on a workshop table. What was the first steps to start making those connections within the music industry?
Yeah, so I think the answer is people buy from people, as I said before, but that's, if you don't know someone exists, then how are you going to buy their product? So we were very lucky early on to have some good advice from some people already in the industry. Dan, I've always cited him as Dan Steinhardt, who's a friend of mine, gave me some brilliant advice, and I took it on board because he's done a similar thing in his business, and so our aim was to just go, right, well, he's an expert, I could understand what he was telling me, and I just took it on board, and we implemented the things he told us and recommended to us. Thereafter, it was getting in touch with the right people and just trying to be a good offering at the and so just make the product attractive to people, and that's just knocking down doors again. You're literally going to people and going, hi, I've got this product to offer. Facebook's a thing, Instagram's a thing, social media is a thing. People need to see you, and there's no silver bullet. There really isn't. You just do everything as much as you can to succeed.
Now, in terms of doing everything, and I'm sure many people watching us will understand, when you are starting a business from the ground up, you have to do everything. It's you mentioned there when people get in touch, it's you're on the end of the email. We all know there's some companies and some Facebooks that might pretend, we'll get reply to such and such later on, but we all know it's just the same person. In fact, I always say this because I literally know a Facebook page where I've seen the same person talking to the same person in different comments. But hey, that's their business. That's their business. But it's as sad as it is. But getting everything going in terms of running a whole business, did you find it overwhelming in those early days, or you sound like a man that likes a challenge? You and your wife, were you excited about that, or were you literally just having to do everything all in or nothing?
I'll be honest, I was excited about it. It's enjoyable. You know, these are skills that you can learn and they're not going to hurt. And the ability to, when you're in charge of a company, because let's assume that, you know, the company grows and grows and grows. And at that point, I have to be able to do what everyone else can do within the company to a lesser or greater extent. Because how can you lead if you can't understand what they're doing? Now, some people will disagree with me on that, but, you know, I should be willing and able to do everything that everyone does. You know, whether it's cleaning the toilets, whether it's doing the accounts, whether it's doing the photography, whether it's building, soldering, everything. I might not be the best at it, but that's where we started off. That's how you do these things. You can't afford to hire everyone you need, so you do it yourself. You know, and it's your own business, your own investment. So the thing that you bring to the party is time, your time, as much as you can cope with, and you just go all in. There's no real other answer. And if you don't do that, well, you won't succeed because you're just half-ass.
Yeah, exactly. Do you think is that a personal attitude that you had? Do you think that came with you from the army? Just that work ethic?
Yeah, that's come from the army. I mean, you've got to have something about you to get in.
Yeah.
But you know, your lads, your soldiers, and girls, they'll rip you a new one if you're shit.
You broke up for me for a second there.
Yeah, they'll rip into you because they're expected to be good, and so you know the ethos is you might not be the best at something, you might not be the best shot, you might not be the best at doing what you're doing, but you need to be good. You need to be able to hold your own.
Yeah.
And you know, when the lads are miserable and you know it's a Friday afternoon and they're you know cleaning the wagons or doing some crap job, well, where possible, you need to, especially when you're a junior officer, you need to get amongst it.
Definitely. Right. So talking about the business where it is, and it's expanding, it's getting out there, which is amazing. As the wheels keep turning, you've got those 100 first pedals off the shelf, which is amazing because that means 100 people are using those pedals. What do we do next? Do we make another 100 pedals, or do we start diversifying or go down a different place? What's the next plan after we've got shifted those first 100?
Okay, so the next thing is to buy 200, and try and sell those and build 200. But parallel to that, you're also thinking about your next product, and so the money that comes in gets reinvested in the business. And you know, for about the first year and a half, no money comes out of that business because it's just going back in, reinvesting, and it's helping to create a good foundation for the business. And so at that point, then my wife quits her job and she's running the company while I'm still in the army. Because she's amazing at soldering as well. I taught her, and she had her eyes lasered when she was younger. So I think she's just, you know, she's got better than 20/20 vision. So
like being married to the Terminator. That sounds amazing. She's just able to completely ace it. Oh, that's cool. So
she might not ace.
Oh, right, okay. So she's looking after that side of the business while you're in the army. And how's that going under her watch?
Yeah, she's awesome. I mean, you know, I won't lie. She's the better part of me. You know, she's literally awesome. And you know, not everyone can work with their partners. I'm super lucky that I can. We can spend all day together and not want to kill each other, which is good.
Wow, that is impressive.
I know, right? I miss her at the moment. She's on maternity leave, and yeah, we've just had a new baby boy, and yeah, so I'm missing her because she's my right arm. You know,
Yeah. Well, it seems as good as point as any to actually jump in on that, because I was going to bring that up at one point. Congratulations again on the new Baba. As a I had a baby right at the start of lockdown, so I can understand exactly how that is. My wife had her maternity cover ruined by lockdown, so that's the way she likes, and she reminds me every day. But that's fine. That's fine.
Fair enough.
How is things going with Baba?
Yeah, he's doing great. He's just a big unit, and he's just wanting to eat all the time, which is I guess normal.
Yes,
but thankfully he's good looking, so that's nice.
Is this baby number one?
No. I've got 3 kids. So I've got a boy from a previous marriage, who's 13. I've got a little girl who's not so little anymore. She's nearly 4. And this is hopefully, touch wood, the last of our children.
Yep. I'm a 3-time dad myself, and I've used that exact same phrase. So if my darling wife is watching, it's definitely the last one. just in case. I don't know what steps I'll have to go to, but I will sure it was the last one. Well, that's amazing that there's another baby and wife's at home enjoying the maternity time. Looking forward to her coming back. But going back to the business, when you're getting ready to come out of the army, so we're going in full tilt boogie on this, and we're wanting to take the business to that next level. Like you say, getting some new products in, you're making some new pedals as well. How are we managing to ramp this up? I mean, you've said you've made those connections, but was there any specific connections of using your products that you think helped really spread that word of mouth? Like you say, people buy from people. Word of mouth is more powerful than any type of marketing. Was there any specific connections, or shall we say people giving reviews of what you've done to others that help spread the word?
Yeah, so I think for us, the thing to do is to get out there, and we went to guitar shows. We sent our product to guitar magazines, really press the flesh and meet people. Just saying hi to people who run guitar shops and stuff like that, getting to know them and convincing them to take a risk on you, because that's what it comes down to. They've got to have a punt on it. But the guitar shows are a great one, because you're right there with your customer, which it's like a shop, but lots and lots and lots of people. And so we've really made an effort to do that as much as possible. It just works.
In terms of the reception of what you were doing, obviously it's been positive, but getting out there to the I hate using guitar shows. Shall we say guitar shows? Would that be the right reference for using it? I'm not sure if there's music conventions. I wasn't sure if that's the phrase that was being used. Somewhere there's going to be a brass section that no one goes near. It's just, there's going to be someone with an oboe, if that's a thing. I think I've made that up. It's an oboe an instrument. We'll move on.
Yeah, no, it is.
It is an instrument, sorry. Yeah. And sometimes my Scottishness gets the better of me, and the only instrument I can think of was a bagpipe. Literally the only thing I can think of there. Or the recorders you would get in school.
Yes.
I'm not looking forward to those days at primary school. I'm going to sit through those. But in terms of getting stuff out there, the music show, I mean, I saw from, again, the online presence that you guys have. And I think it's great, because there is a real... these are people within our community. These are people that we're working with. These are the pedals that we're making for people as well. That's why I was saying all the ones with the connection to the army names. It is such a unique, I hate using the phrase brand, but we have to use it in terms of business sometimes, don't we? It is such a unique brand. It's still a struggle with it. I don't know why. Do you think that is really what helped make the connection with people? Because in terms of it really stands out. It's just not a generic stamp. There you go. They really seem to be a real building up towards your products.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think people identify with the brand. I think people identify what our mission is. So where was I?
I think we're getting up to making cool things that you like.
Yeah. I think there's a passion behind what we're doing, and in all honesty, that's probably how I would distill it down. I think people understand the passion, and and they enjoy it. I mean, we get so much feedback from people. It's amazing, really. And I massively appreciate it. You know, just it brightens your day. You know, even if, because no matter what you're doing in life, you're always going to have crappy days and good days.
Yeah.
And you know, just a little message randomly from people just cheers you up. You go, well, that was pretty cool. You know, really bright on a base level, just cheers you up. You know.
Oh, definitely, and it's kind of cool that, like you said, during lockdown, people have clearly been using. You've been busy, which means your equipment's getting out there. It's getting used to continue to make music during this time. Well, it sounds like an odd thing to say, but I know, like, if I've written for another comedian or if I've written for something else or been involved with something and I've seen someone else use it and does well, it gives me a little lift. How do you feel about people using your stuff to make amazing tunes?
Yeah, it's awesome. You have to pinch yourself sometimes. You really do, because it might not be a big deal for them because it's just a tool, essentially. Yeah. But for me, it's a huge deal. And it just sort of makes you go, wow, okay, this is cool. We've made it, you know?
Yeah, you are part of that forever in some way. I know that sounds weird, but you're a buddy of mine's a game designer, and he always goes, my games are always going to be here. They're like, I've created it. They're gonna be here in some way or another. And he gets a huge buzz from that. So that was the reason I asked the question, because I kind of equated it to the same thing. You are absolutely instrumental, no pun intended, in creating some music. What's the plans for the future then? I mean, like I say, it's been great during this time. You've been able to expand the business and build on what you've been doing, which is still in a relative short space of time, I guess, that you guys in a short period of time, Thorpy's gone all over the place. Well, what's the plans for the future then? You said you've expanded the business. Is there more bespoke stuff? Is there anything you can tell us about without giving anything away?
No, absolutely. I mean, the great thing about the industry that I work in is that, you know, there's loads of different sounds that you can make, and people are always experimenting. So if you can think it up, you can make it. And so we're always doing research and development. You know, I have a parallel stream. I've got 2 guys that work for me that are just helping us like push the boundaries of what we can achieve, and they just run parallel. They're not on the main sort of physical effort at the time, but they're the future. So we work in sort of 1, 2, 4 years out. So, you know, you've got your blue sky thinking, which is a very corporate phrase, but essentially, you know, that's what we'd like to achieve that by the 4-year point, you know, and that's roughly where we think. And then, you know, what's coming next has been worked on for the last 12 months. So and we're literally launching a product tomorrow that I've been working on for over a year. Wow. So this is sort of like sort of giving birth to a pedal, which would be very painful. But
that's gonna be knobbly on the way out. That's gonna
a little bit.
That's gonna sting. That's gonna sting.
So that's happening tomorrow. But like, you know, thereafter it's okay. Well, now I need to switch fire and move on to the next thing, because, you know, in 8 months, 9 months, whatever time frame, there'll be something else coming along. You know, because we want to.
And as well as pushing yourself like that, I guess part of that would be you also have to keep an eye on developments within the industry, because particularly in sound work, music work, whatever way you want to look at it, there's always those sudden jumps. I mean, you can even think to where we were a year ago, 14 months ago. Some of the things that people are able to do now is incredible. In that year, the developments made. So as part of that as well, and making sure you stay within that conversation, are you always having to keep one eye on the industry as well and trying to predict where you want to slot in there?
Yeah, I mean, I will say this: the guitar industry is very traditional, and it's in what it puts out and what people like. I mean, we're a particularly interesting company in that we are at the moment fully analog. So we use analog circuitry. So think, you know, the equivalent to music is we're vinyl at the moment, compared to MP3s, which, you know, in some other industries are. However, we're working on the digital, you know, that we are, but it's got its own problems because, you know, the analog realm, it's hard to get parts, especially at the moment. silicon is a worldwide shortage on silicon, which is I don't think anyone's talking about. But car lines are shutting down because they can't get computer chips.
Cameras as well. I'm hearing that. I'm literally waiting on a camera turning up, and I think it's been on order for like 6 weeks.
Yeah, exactly.
And drawers as well. There's a drawer that I'm waiting on. There's a drawer, like a runner for a drawer. I have in the house. I've been waiting for 7 weeks.
Blimey.
There's a shortage. I'm just gonna use the kid's cot. I think at this point, I just think
fair enough.
Just gonna get converted into some type of basket. I think. Yeah. But like you say, digital has its problems as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So I mean, but we're you can always work around these things. So we're just we've been scrabbling around for some dev kits to allow us to do what we need to do. And we've got to now plan and buy a year in advance, and we're not even sure that we're there yet. Like this month has been horrendous. We've had to buy stock because the lead times are 12 months. So and no one wants to wait to be paid. So I've got to pay for next year's stuff right now, and hope that it arrives in the time frame. Things are always fraught with difficulty. It's natural friction. There's nothing to worry about. But yeah. Well,
I'm glad you're not worrying about it, because I kind of I don't even know why on your behalf. I feel like I'm worrying. Well, that's amazing that there's developments for the future. And I've got to say, what is the best way? Because I know you like to have stuff on social media. It's a great way to make connections with people as well, and they can obviously see what you're doing. What's the best way for people to get in touch? And if anyone, I don't know, has any questions or queries or what have you, what's the best way for people to get in touch and keep on track of what you guys are up to?
So our most up-to-date form of social media that we use is probably Instagram. We're always on there. We're always posting. If you want to put a comment out, you want to send a DM, whatever, I will probably answer you there within as short a time frame as possible. Facebook, if you're a little bit older, use Facebook. If you want, send me a letter. I'd love to receive a letter. That would be amazing.
If I received a handwritten letter, I honestly don't know what I would do.
Frame it.
I would probably I wouldn't open it. It's like, this has got to be something bad. This is a sister I didn't know I had or something. You don't need that stress. Well, look, Adrian, it has been a blast talking to you. You're gonna get some. Are you staying in the lab tonight, or are you heading home?
I'm going to be heading home soon. Yeah.
Brilliant. So you're going to get to see the little one.
Yeah, exactly. Well, he's up all hours, so I get to see him at 4:00 in the morning. And
I feel your pain, brother. I feel your pain. There's especially when you get to number 3, you can't pretend you're asleep anymore. You can't pretend. Don't work. I could be stuck. I could have taken a pill. I could have no pulse. I would still get woken up. But never mind. Look, it's been a blast talking to you. I'll tell you what, I'll pop you in the green room. I'll finish up here, and we can say we chat when we're finished. Everyone from ThorpyFX, let's hear for Adrian. Thank you very much, man. I really appreciate that. Right, that's all we've got time for on this episode of Broadcast. We are going to be back next week. Don't forget to head over and check out ThorpyFX if you're into that type of thing. Hey, listen, we'll happily point you in that direction. We're going to put all the details below this video, wherever you're watching it. And if you are watching it or listening to it on Spotify, don't worry, details will be there and there as well. We're going to be back next week on Broadcast. Don't forget to check out everything that is going over right now at the website. Some amazing stuff coming out for the summer, some events as well. And a quick plug for me, head over to billykirkwoodcomedy.com, because finally, after all these years, I built a website. Never going to update it, but never mind. Head over and check it out. We'll see you next time on Broadcast. Now it's time to play the video. Cheers.